Okay, we're live. Welcome back to the channel, everybody, here with the latest Manchester United news and everything you guys need to know ahead of Manchester United's match against Brighton tomorrow. Big match, will be difficult. Brighton in brilliant form. Manchester United, a lot of question marks, a lot of answers hopefully we're going to show with you guys tonight. So let's get into the main story. First and foremost, we are talking once again about Jadon Sancho. What is the winger's long-term future at Manchester United? As we know, this week there has been a refusal from Sancho to apologise to Erik ten Hag. There has been a suspension from first team training for Jadon Sancho at Manchester United. So where does this leave us as a fan base? Where does this leave us as a club? Well, Erik ten Hag in his press conference today, very coy, didn't really answer too many questions on the Sancho situation. Now let's cast our mind back just to last night, just for anybody who might have missed it or who needs a refresher for where we were last night. So first and foremost, Samuel Luckhurst from Manchester Evening News has said sources close to Jadon Sancho believe it might be in his best interest to move elsewhere. Sancho is open to leaving Manchester United in the January transfer window if he remains marooned at the club until the new year. It's not looking good. This is a guy we spent £73 million on. This is a guy we desperately wanted as a fan base, as a club, for a very long time. It never happened. It's just never worked out for Sancho at Manchester United, and for one reason or another, be it the coaching, be it the injuries he's had, the lack of form, the poor Manchester United form in the same time period, it has not been good for Jadon Sancho at Manchester United. So we have an update coming in from James Ducker. Now, Ducker is a very reliable journalist writing for The Telegraph. He has said Sancho believes there is inconsistencies in the way Erik ten Hag has applied rules in relation to him as compared to his teammates. This is one of the key reasons why Sancho believes he is being made a scapegoat by Erik ten Hag and by Manchester United. I mean, look, I've said everything we need to say about this Sancho situation, in my opinion. I think that he is in the wrong in this scenario. This is a guy signed for a lot of money, has not delivered on his potential, on the ability, has had very few matches where he's genuinely been outstanding, in my opinion. And I think he's completely in the wrong here. Look, should Erik ten Hag have called him out in the press conference? Probably not. Maybe that was something better left behind closed doors. But I don't think he is intentionally going after Sancho in that situation. In my opinion, I think a lot of this has been Sancho overreacting to what was said initially, and that's what I think the issue is here. As you can see, Luman in the comments, good to see you, man, hope all is good. So we're asking you guys in the poll as well tonight, should Manchester United let Jadon Sancho go? So this is kind of in relation to the article posted by Samuel Luckhurst from Manchester Evening News. United would be willing to let Sancho go. I feel like if the transfer window was still opened, I feel like if this was 2 weeks ago, we might be in a situation where he might leave the club. Obviously, there was interest from Chelsea during the summer. There was interest from other clubs. His position in this team is genuinely very questionable. Now, look, we know Erik ten Hag likes Antony. I mean, probably Antony should be dropped as well, form-wise. Look, we can talk about the allegations, of course, but from an on-the-pitch point of view, I don't think Antony should be playing week in, week out, based on how he's been playing so far for Manchester United. But one thing we can say is the bars for Sancho to get in to the first team has been very low at Manchester United. There hasn't been a world-class player, somebody playing out of their skin ahead of him at this club. It's not like he's got Marcus Rashford on the left ahead of him. It's not like he's got genuine star power ahead of him where he cannot get into the team, no matter how well he plays. The bar is very low, and Sancho hasn't met the low bar in his own performances. If he was better than Antony, he would play. That's where I stand on this issue. Let me know your thoughts down below, guys. Get voting on the poll as well. Most of you guys, 90%, are saying, yeah, we should be letting Sancho go. But I think this is coming down to a butting of heads, and it's coming down to the manager versus the player. Erik ten Hag wants an apology from Sancho. Sancho is refusing to give that apology, and that, for me, I, I just don't get it, guys. I really, really don't. And it's not looking good on Jadon Sancho's part. So Sky Sports last night said Erik ten Hag wants to see Sancho apologise for the social media post, which he was infuriated and stunned by. Sancho is refusing to apologise to Erik ten Hag, and now Sancho finds himself training by himself on a personal training regime at Manchester United. This is not where we wanted to be, and we said initially, months and months ago, this would be a massive season for Jadon Sancho. It has to go right. It has to be spot on. He has to pick up the form. He has to play better. We're not getting that. And now today, for a player we spent 2 summers chasing, a player that we spent £73 million on, Manchester United are talking about selling the player. Coming in from Graham Bailey, first and foremost, Borussia Dortmund are keeping close tabs on Sancho's situation. They would be inclined to offer him a route back in January. Sancho would love to return to the Bundesliga, but it is an issue of money. As we know, Sancho is paid £350,000 per week. That's a lot of money for a guy who has not delivered. That is a lot of money for a guy who should, at this stage, coming into his 3rd season at Manchester United, there should be no excuses. It shouldn't be an issue of settling in. It shouldn't be an issue of him not having settled into Manchester United. He should be settled. He should be ready. He should be playing at his full potential. And there's genuinely no excuse for it. We've had false starts, we've had false dawns, but as of yet, we haven't seen Jadon Sancho be the player we thought we had. And this is coming in from Manchester Evening News. Borussia Dortmund and Nottingham Forest have identified Jadon Sancho as a potential option. He is reluctant to move to Saudi Arabia at this moment. This is a guy we signed for £73 million, guys, and we're talking about him going to Nottingham Forest. It's not looking good. That's the main thing I want to say. Just in terms of the poll, we have 90% of you guys saying yes, Sancho should be let go, and only 10% saying that you're not quite sure as of yet. Most of you guys, yeah, you're going to say Sancho should be going. I don't know, guys. I really don't. I think we've got good players in the wings with Pellistri and Amad Diallo, 2 players we want to see given an opportunity. And if you are Facundo Pellistri, if you are Amad Diallo, and you're looking at this situation, you're probably thinking, I've landed on my feet here. I didn't get the loan move in the summer, but now Antony is out for an indefinite amount of time. Sancho's long-term future at this club is massively, massively at risk. And where does that leave them? This gives them an opportunity to play on that right-hand side. It should not be Bruno Fernandes. It should not be Mason Mount. It should not be Alejandro Garnacho playing out of position. That's what we don't want to see. Let's see one of Pellistri, one of Amad Diallo get an opportunity. And Amad's currently injured, so this has to be the chance for Facundo to start. We got Chase in the comments. Good to see you, man. Hope all is good. 12 votes on the poll as well. 92% saying yes, we should be letting Jadon Sancho go. I'm really not surprised at all about that. I really cannot say that Sancho has earned the respect of the fan base. I just don't get it. I really, really don't. It does seem petulant. It seems childish. And I think whoever is advising him needs to have a long, long look at themselves, because this isn't going to endear him to the fan base. This is a club in recent years where we have been put in a stranglehold by player power at this club, both on and off the pitch. In terms of players, the attitudes, it's not been good. And Erik ten Hag himself has said as much. He said when he was initially brought in by the club, it was because the atmosphere was not so good, the environment was not so good, and he was told to get a handle on the situation. He was told he needs to stamp his authority on this team, on this club. That's what he's doing. And I think it's basic standards. I don't think what Erik ten Hag is asking is anything radical. I really don't. He's asking for hard work in training. He's asking to be punctual. He's asking to try your best. Is that anything other than the bare minimum? I really don't think so. And that's where I kind of stand on this issue. I said last night, and I thought about it as well. I do really stand by what I said. In recent seasons, we've had the likes of Scott McTominay, Wout Weghorst, Marcel Sabitzer, Fred, players who are not good enough for the team, and they've stood out due to their work rate. They should not be standing out based on work rate and passion alone. That should be a given. If you're at Manchester United, you should want to be here. You should be working hard week in, week out. You should be doing your best for the team. You should be giving it your all in training. And that is the basic level of professionalism that this club requires, that any football club would require. And that's my issue with this situation. I don't think we're stretching too far to say that. I don't think that just because you turn up on time, you work hard, you do a shift, and you're passionate, I don't think that should make you stand out. And it has. And that is a symptom of a club who have been strangled, held in place by toxicity in the dressing room, by a culture of player power, by a culture that has been bred over a long, long time, that the manager will go and the players will not, because it's cheaper to replace a manager than it is to get rid of the entire team or to bin certain players off. Is that the situation we want to find ourselves in? Absolutely, it's not. It's just not. Any more thoughts, guys? Make sure you get them in down below. Just looking at the poll, we've got 86% saying Sancho should go. We have 7% saying not sure, and 7% are saying no as well. So moving on quickly from the Jadon Sancho situation, let's get talking about tomorrow's match, because it's going to be good to have Manchester United back in action. It really, really will be. So first and foremost, we have some team news to bring you guys. We have Victor Lindelof and Lisandro Martinez both available to play against Brighton, which is good news. We finished the last match against Arsenal with Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire as our centre-back pairing. So having those players back, it's going to be good. And look, you guys can see right from the title as well, Sofyan Amrabat injured. That's not good for Manchester United. So as we know, he was sent back from the Moroccan training camp for the internationals due to a small injury. He will not be playing tomorrow. That's unfortunate. That's not what we want to see. And I think that it would have been a very good match to have Sofyan Amrabat. Look, he has trained this week, so obviously it's not too serious of an injury. Obviously he will be back very soon. But what we can say is we would like to have Amrabat available for this match. We'd like him available for several reasons. First and foremost, we're going to be going up against this Brighton team in very good form with a midfield of Casemiro, Eriksen and Bruno Fernandes most likely, unless we put Bruno on the right and bring McTominay in. And that's not what we want to see either as a club. That's not what we need in that match, but it might be the way we have to go. So that's unfortunate as well, in my opinion. Let me just double check as well. Rasmus Hojlund expected to have his first Manchester United start. I think that's a good thing. Looking forward to seeing how he gets on in that one. Liman's down there. Amrabat injured. We are cursed. When will the curse end, or will it? Honestly, man, you can't write this stuff. This has been a very, very difficult first month of Manchester United season. And we're only 4 matches in. If this is how we're going to be going by Christmas time, we might have to call up the women's team, because everybody's going to be either suspended or injured. But moving on as well, Amrabat not available to face Brighton, says Erik ten Hag. Speaking on Jadon Sancho as well in today's press conference, Erik ten Hag had noted everything is said by the club, so the squad is strong, in good spirits and in a good mood going into tomorrow's game. I think that's what we got to focus on, guys, is tomorrow's match. And I think it's very easy to get caught up in everything going on off the pitch. I think it's very easy to be caught in the whirlwind of toxicity we're seeing online, but there is a match tomorrow. Make no mistake about it. If we don't win, it's going to be even more toxic. It's going to be an even worse week, and we will be doing a watch along as well. Make sure you guys are tuning in for that one. Love doing the watch along streams with you guys. In terms of the poll, 15 votes. We have 87% saying yes, Sancho should go. We have 7% saying you're not sure, and 7% are also saying no. So I think as a fan base, I think a lot of people are fed up with the player power at this club. And one thing I have seen a lot of online, and I will just highlight this as well, is people are correctly pointing out that Sancho as a player, what has he done in a Manchester United shirt to feel that he has the ability to come out and speak out against the manager, refuse to apologise? I genuinely cannot name too many top-level Sancho performances. I seriously cannot, and that's frustrating for me. Let me see. Chase is saying it's going to be a draw tomorrow. Get your thoughts in down below, guys. I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to think United get it done. I'm going to go for a win tomorrow. I'm going to go for a Hojlund goal. I think that could be a real burst of positivity at the club. I think that could be something we absolutely need to see, and I think that's something that really will help us um, move on from the negativity. Liman is saying Dano City got the skill report of Jesus when buying him. That's the level of research the players they want. I think that's another good point. I think far too many of the players we've signed in recent years haven't worked out for one reason or another. What sort of background research, what sort of character studies are we doing? That's another very good point, because I think if we looked at Sancho, as good as he was at Dortmund, as promising as he was at Dortmund, there was always issues about his mentality, about his work rate, about how he trained. That was always a concern at Borussia Dortmund. And look, this isn't just a baseless accusation. This is something that is absolutely spot on. And look, Pep Guardiola himself called out and questioned the work rate of Sancho at Man City. There's a reason why he didn't play under Pep Guardiola, clearly. And I don't know, guys. I'm just kind of in the position that we gotta be honest with ourselves. Liman, should I be optimistic or realistic for tomorrow? I'm always optimistic. I I want to see us do well tomorrow. I think we can. Look, Brighton, as good as they've been, they have caught a couple of bad results this season. Really took apart by down memory lane. Will reveal the winger had also had issues at previous club, Borussia Dortmund, as well as the England international team. So there's a long track record of this stuff. It isn't just a brand new thing. Is the point we're gonna go for? Look, I'm gonna be positive for tomorrow's match. By the way, Le Man, do not worry. I think we can and will win the match. I do. I might end up regretting that. I might regret my words, but I think we can go out and win tomorrow. But guys, get voting on the poll. Drop a like on the video. We're up to 11 likes. Big ups. Thanks so much for everyone joining in. Not quite sure what's happening at the minute. Just getting everything back with the channel, of course, after some time off. But we are back. Pretty much back to the normal schedule, live most nights of the week. All the watch alongs will be done. Greg is in there. Tomorrow's match, a massive test. Obviously, we are still a way behind City, but beating Brighton sets a statement and shows that even though the shambles, we're still a force and not a laughing stock. Do I completely agree with you, Greg? I really do. I want to see United doing well tomorrow. I think it will be, if we win, I think it'll be what we need. I think it'll take a lot of the eyes off the negativity off the pitch. It'll take a lot of the eyes off this constant circus surrounding Manchester United. But if we lose, everything's going to be put up. Everything is going to be made a lot worse. And the growing press agenda against Manchester United, the knives will be sharpened. Make no mistake about that one as well. But I'm excited for a lot of things tomorrow. First and foremost, Rasmus Hojlund playing. That's going to be exciting. What are your guys' thoughts for tomorrow's match, by the way? Get your predictions in. Do we think we're going to win? Let me know. And get voting on the poll. 15 votes on that one so far, but if you haven't voted, let me know. Will Manchester United let Sancho go? Liman's down there. Sancho and Donny, who I think is more faulty. I think that's a good point, and that is something I would like to call out as well, Liman. I think as much as we berate the likes of Harry Maguire for refusing to go during the summer, as much as we have a go at Sancho at the moment, I think Donny van de Beek is a player who's gone under the radar. This is a guy who was offered to a lot of teams last summer, who had a lot of opportunities to leave on loan or for on a permanent, but he didn't take them. He turned down almost every single move for him across the board, and there was moves from within Premier League clubs, there was moves within French clubs, there was the constant Real Sociedad links. A lot of things were turned down on Van de Beek's side. This is a player who clearly is not fancied by Manchester United, who will not have a long-term future at this club, because if Erik ten Hag can't make it work for a guy who he helped make, I don't think anybody can. Just is saying a win tomorrow would be a breath of fresh air. Absolutely, man. It could be like a cold water in the middle of the night. It would just hit good. It would just be what we need at the moment. And if we can go on some wins, pick up some good results, I think that's going to take a lot of the negativity away from Manchester United. It's going to be an interesting match tomorrow. Brighton, a very good team. How they're going to cope at Manchester United will be interesting. Of course, they beat us last time out. Very, very late Alexis McAllister penalty in that one. But it's going to be a good match. It's going to be an interesting one. Brighton, a very good team to watch. Let's see how we can deal with it. I would feel a lot more confident if we had Sofyan Amrabat in midfield, because I think that would just give us the leg room, give us the work rate that we need. We got Gani down in the comments as well. You're thinking a win tomorrow, just hoping to see a good performance and not like the Wolves game. Absolutely, man. I would say the performances this season have been very poor. I think in the last match against Arsenal, even though we lost 3-1, I think that's maybe the best performance we've put in all season, and that's saying something. Obviously, before that, the Nottingham Forest match, we found ourselves 2-0 down after about 10 minutes. It wasn't ideal either. Let me see, Leman saying, if I had to choose tomorrow between a win against Brighton and Bayern, who would I want and why? Good question there. I'm going to say a win against Brighton. I think winning the first match will be very important. And even though the Champions League is very, very important competition to Manchester United this season, I think we got to look at the Premier League. So even if we don't beat Bayern, I still think we could lose both matches against Bayern Munich and still go through the group, because I think we can beat Galatasaray, I think we can beat Copenhagen. So I would fancy us in that respect. Keep voting on the poll as well, guys. 17 votes on there. We have 82% of you guys going for Sancho should go. We have 12% saying not sure, and 6% are saying no as well. Would I want to lose games with good performances or win with poor performances? Man, I want to win matches. I don't care if we gotta sit and absolutely grind it out, then that's what we gotta do. I think winning the matches first, getting the results is more important than putting in good performances. If you can win and play good, that's a bonus. That's everything you would want. But I want to win the matches first and foremost. Absolutely. And I'm sure you guys would agree with that one as well. I don't think that's too controversial of an opinion to have. You know, we want to win these matches. It's a game of winning. And that's ultimately what it will come down to. So, look, nobody talks about the performance if you win. And nobody really has spoken about how bad we played against Wolves after the Wolves match. Took a couple of days, but after the match after that, after the Spurs match, that was all we're talking about. So that's what we got to focus on, guys. We've got to work towards winning the matches first and foremost. Performances, they'll come afterwards. I think even if we win 1-0 tomorrow and it's a horrible game and we manage to just scrape a late goal, I think I will absolutely take that. With everything going on, absolutely. Let me just double check as well. Wanted to check something for you guys. Was some more stuff as well. Yeah, so this is something we want to get talking about. Will we see Sergio Reguilon tomorrow? I think this can be an interesting one. I would ideally like to see a back four, probably of Aaron Wan-Bissaka in there. I guess we Lindelof, Martinez. Do we go Reguilon? Do we stick with Dalot? That's the question there. But where Manchester United says, Chase, absolutely, man. I want to win matches and I want to do it in the right way. I want to smash teams. I'm going to score goals. Absolutely. But I think as Gani says, we are Manchester United. We have to be winning many games, but not all might be convincingly. Absolutely. I think if you win a match and you don't play good, you still won the match. That's all that matters at that full-time whistle, guys. Absolutely. That is what I'm going for as well. Any more thoughts, guys? Make sure to get them in down below. We've got 18 votes in the poll, 83% saying, yeah, we're going to win the match as well. Hopefully we do. I'm really hoping that we manage to win tomorrow's match, because that will just be a breath of fresh air. It will be exactly what this club need, exactly what Erik ten Hag needs. And hopefully, after 2 weeks off, we can be more fresh. We can be looking fitter, we can be looking sharper. That's what we got to be hoping for. Absolutely. As well, let me just double check a couple more things. Want to look at yes, we talked about Stefan Amrabat, we talked about Jadon Sancho for a bit as well. Yeah, look, let's get talking about Facundo Pellistri. I'm expecting to see Pellistri make a start tomorrow. That's what I would like to see, because I think we need it. I think we need Bruno in the middle of the pitch. But if you guys disagree, let me know on that one. Would you guys rather see Bruno Fernandes on the right and we pack out the midfield? Let me know your thoughts on that one. But look, I've said all week, if I'm Facundo Pellistri, I'm absolutely chomping at the bit right now because he's in a position where he might not have found himself in at any other time. With Sancho and Anthony and Amad Diallo out, we're seeing Ethan Williams, a right winger from the under-21s, in training as well. So Erik ten Hag clearly looking for solutions there. Ethan Williams, a very talented player, 5 goals in 2 matches this season. So maybe he's going to step in and be in the squad for a bit. Maybe that's an opportunity for him. But if you're Facundo Pellistri, you've waited many seasons for an opportunity. You really have. This could be his option. Liman says the sentence that we are Manchester United got another meaning after the Glazers. Oh, it's just disappeared as well. But yeah, look, I'm not too bothered about performances. It's about the result. If we win the match, that's all I care about. And hopefully we can pick up some form. Hopefully we can drive on and make some more progress as a football club. Let me know your thoughts down below, guys. Keep getting them in. I want to just check something as well, because I'm not sure if the stream's running 100% tonight. All week really it's been a little bit strange. Let me see, 23 votes on the poll as well. 78% are saying we should be letting Sancho go. I'm so fresh is in there. Good to see you, man. Hope all is good. Yes, I had a good holiday. I hope everybody else had a good time as well. Feel like I picked the right time to head off on a little break. Unfortunately, I had a lot of video content done, and in transferring it from my laptop to my phone, it managed to corrupt. And I think it's kind of messed my channel up, because now it's like, because I didn't upload for like 2 weeks, I think that's an issue. And I don't think the notifications are going out either. So we're building ourselves back up. I'm having a good time, man. I hope all is good with yourself. In terms of updates we have for Sancho, let me just quickly run through them for you and for anybody else who might be joining in slightly late tonight. So first and foremost, as we know, Sancho is on a personal training regime. He will be training away from the main first team squad. Now, what we can say as well, and I think this is absolutely something that's really not looking good for Sancho, is we're seeing the likes of Luckhurst, the likes of Ducker picking up on these stories. And whenever we see these guys speak, they're what I would like to call a club journalist. They are journalists who get their information directly from people within the club. Now, sometimes you'll find club PR spins in there, but I don't think this is one. And they're talking about a potential exit for Sancho being discussed. The options for Sancho could be Dortmund, it could be Nottingham Forest, of all clubs. But I really think this is an indication of how bad this signing has gone. I really do. And arguably it's been worse than, say, a Harry Maguire, because £73 million is a lot of money to spend for a guy who is meant to come in, not as a prospect, but as a player with a lot of potential, a lot of ability now, who should be, after 3 seasons at Manchester United, one of the key players. If we got down below, Liman saying we should now accept that we're not Manchester United before the Glazers came. Absolutely. It's a different club. Any success we have from here on in, any success we've had in the last 17 years has been in spite of the Glazers. It's not been because of them. We have managed to have we've managed to pick up Premier Leagues, Champions Leagues, a lot of success under Sir Alex Ferguson. Most of that team had been built already before the Glazers took over. So yeah, look, it's not the same team. It's really not. Gani's down there. When do I think we'll see our new goalkeeper play? I feel Ten Hag won't be afraid to play him in any game. He's an international player. I'm assuming we're talking about Altay Bayandere. I would expect to see some of him. I think we might see him in the Carabao Cup matches when they start back. I think we might see him, should the Onana situation resolve itself, with him going to the African Cup of Nations in January. So that will be 5 or 6 weeks where we will see Altay Bayandere. So he's obviously been signed for a reason. If he does come in, let's hope he can do a good job. I think Onana has done a really good job so far. Obviously, look, he's let goals in, but how many are genuinely his fault? Not too many, in my opinion. But yeah, look, we're going to see some of him. I want to see some more signings as well, and some more of the players we have signed playing. Maybe we see Reguilon in this one. Maybe we see we won't see Stefan Amrabat. Hopefully we get a Hojlund start. That has to be on the agenda for this one. Onana, of course, will play. I'm expecting a couple more players in here as well. Who else is in the comments? So Fresh is saying, how are we letting ourselves lose these players for hundreds of millions in value declines? I'm willing to give these players second chances, but I want to see performances to match. Absolutely. It's not just a question of performances playing for the sake of it. Big T's down there 3 seasons of either not being played or not played in the preferred position. In the run of games last season, he had more goals and assists than Anthony. I think it's a very valid point. I do think that there could be times we played Sancho over Anthony. I don't think either have worked out as of yet. But what I think the issue is with Jadon Sancho is first season was a write-off. It was United's worst season. But last year, it wasn't great. And not enough end product from Sancho. And it isn't just the goals and assists. I think something a lot of us will comment on Sancho as well. It does seem to be mentality issues. It does seem to be that he's unwilling to make decisions in the final third. He likes to take the safe option. I said a couple of times last year, I always thought that Anthony and Sancho were too far on either ends of the extreme. Anthony wants to cut inside and shoot every time he gets it. Sancho wants to turn back and play the ball off. I think Sancho's a really good player. I just don't think this is a team for him. I don't think we hold the possession. We don't have the players around him to get the best out of him either. I think that both Anthony and Sancho, this should have been a massive season for them. And clearly for both players, it's not going to work out that way. I think that's a disappointment for Ten Hag. I think that will be a disappointment for us as a fan base. We want to see more from these players. We want to see them kicking on. Because look, if Sancho does really well and starts scoring and assisting and being so important to how we play, or if Anthony starts scoring goals every match and becomes a world-class player, that's nothing but good for us as a club. So I'm not swaying either way. I just want to see better performances from both players. Absolutely. 27 votes on the poll. 70% think we should be letting Sancho go now. We have 19% saying not sure, and 11% are saying no, we shouldn't be letting Sancho go. I think there's a way back for him in the team. I do. And I think a lot of it comes to how we are currently playing as a squad, as a club. I think he definitely can get back into this team. But I think he's got to accept that he's going to have to apologise. Whether he thinks it's right or not, he's going to have to do it. And look, you can apologise and not mean it. You can apologise and not be sincere. But you can apologise and just get on with it. That's what I think he's got to do. That's where Sancho needs to be. And I think he will be seen as a bit of a victim in this to himself. Because, yeah, other players not playing well and they're playing ahead of him. I think that's a really good point. But what I will say as well, I think Sancho has up his levels. I really do. And look, there should be matches where Sancho played over Anthony. But what I will say as well is the bar is very low with Anthony in terms of what he was doing. In terms of his performances, they weren't top level either. And Sancho just couldn't get into the team. It does seem to be he wants to blame that on in terms of the actual preferences and the favoritism in the club. But I don't know. Like, I really think he should be doing more for Manchester United. What's that from Gani? We're up to 15 likes. I think we're up to 16 as well. I don't know what's happening with the channel. Obviously, used to be a lot more people coming in. I think it's a YouTube problem. I think they changed the algorithm last week at some point because a lot of people not getting notifications, my friends included. So Fresh is saying, what are we going to do with Maguire? Bit of a John Terry at centre back, scores a lot of goals in the wrong net. Yeah, look, I think the Maguire situation is very ugly. I really do. It's not looking good for the guy. It's not. And in many regards, we feel bad for him. Do I think he should be at United? No. Should he have moved on in the summer? Absolutely, he should have. But he doesn't deserve this level of abuse either. I think that the best thing for him should have been to leave the club. I think he's clearly not wanted by the fan base, not wanted by the team, because we did everything we could to push the guy out of the club over the summer, and it just didn't happen. I think he should have went. Keith is down there as well. Can't see that one. Think the comment just got deleted there. We're up to 17 likes as well. Thanks so much, guys. Big T says, if Anthony feels it looks bad on Ten Hag, that forces Ten Hag to play him and hope he comes good. Yeah, look, there might be an element in that. This is Ten Hag's player who he desperately wanted. We spent a lot of money on. I would agree with that. I definitely think that there should be more from Anthony, and I think Ten Hag will want him to come good. Luman says, if both Sancho and Anthony never made a big impact in games, so missing them will not affect us, but maybe turn out to be a blessing in disguise. I think that's going to be an interesting one. If Pellistri plays and Pellistri smashes it up, and he does really good, gets a couple of assists, maybe a goal, and Sancho comes back, does Sancho go right in ahead of him? Does Anthony come back and go right in ahead of him? I think we got to pick foreign players. I think we got to pick the players playing well. So it's an opportunity for him. It's an opportunity for him to go out and play. Hopefully, he can make a big difference. Maybe it's going to be what we need. I think he's a different type of player to what we have. Greg's done there. Pellistri seems a more natural winger, looking to put crosses in. The wide men haven't done so for a while. We have had more of that from our fullbacks. Hopefully, Pellistri can get a chance and take it. I think he will. I really think he will. I think he's got to do it. Chase is down there. Anthony can never come good. He's got a weak shot, doesn't think fast enough to make the best decisions attacking wise. I'm no fan of Sancho. Key time for Ten Hag if he gets through the pressure of this Christmas and January. I think he's definitely the future of United. Luman says many people missing nowadays in the stream. Haven't seen Lucky sing Stephanie Rizat as well. Yeah, look, I think it's a YouTube issue. I think that's the problem. We've basically got like 2,000 subs, and I think there's like, what is that, like 80 views? So I think it's just been low across the board. I was looking at some of the numbers as well. It seems to be a YouTube problem. United People's TV, they've got like 350k subs, and their views are down 85% for this month. So it does seem to be an issue on the YouTube stuff. United stand like 2 million subscribers, and they're getting about 30k views. Like, it does seem to be a YouTube issue. So that it'll fix itself. I'm not too concerned about that one at all. It's just going to push through as well. And thanks so much for joining in as well, guys. Let me know, just because I'm curious as well, guys, do you guys have the notifications on, or how do you guys find the stream? I'm just wondering if it's not popping up in people's boxes and search boxes. Would like to know on that there one. He also got down below, people are hopping in. Pellistri can get some chemistry with Hojlund and keep setting him up. Anthony is no way back. I mean, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't. And I said it not last night, but the night before. If you go back and look at a lot of the goals Hojlund has scored for Denmark, for Atalanta, a lot of them are darts across the front post, flick-ons, those sort of instinctive finishes. With Rashford, we don't get that on the left. With Anthony, we would never get that on the right, because it would require a cross on the right foot. Can Pellistri bring that? I think he can. I don't think we're going to get it out of Wan-Bissaka. I really don't. But maybe Pellistri can be a good option. And maybe he'll be a player who maybe doesn't have the name associated, the price tag associated, but he will come in and be a good system fit. And if you fit the system, I think that's as important as being a fantastic player as well. Let's see, Gani is down there. Anthony's not class, but full of confidence, while Sancho is class and lack of confidence. Most of the players we've have underperformed, and I feel for Sancho in this situation. I think there's a lot more to come. I do, and we know the talent's there. We know the abilities there. It just needs to work on that one. Let me see. He also got Mr. Shock Attack is saying, if there's ever a time for Ten Hag to give Pellistri a go, this is the time. But I'm telling you, he's going to play Rashford on the right, Garnacho on the left. Oh, man, I really hope not. I think, look, if we're going to move either Garnacho or Rashford, it's got to be Garnacho, I guess, because we're going to need Rashford on that side. He's just so much better on the left. So Fresh to say, maybe the international break had effect on Premier League views. Yeah, but it's kind of across a month as well, so that could even be like to mid-August. I've noticed it as well. Big T doesn't rely on the algorithm. I take note of what people stream and pick my phone up at that time. Thanks very much for that one, man. Liman, the only two players I've got faith left in are Hojlund and Amrabat, and one will not play tomorrow. I think looking at one of those players, I think Hojlund might be in for a good match tomorrow. I'm excited to see how he goes. I'm excited to see how he does. Looked very good in that 30-minute cameo against Arsenal. He's been well managed throughout the international break. Hasn't played a lot of minutes for Denmark. Still recovering, still coming back into it from that injury. Let's hope to see some more of Rasmus Hojlund. I think a really good cameo against Arsenal. That's what we want to see. Physical forward, going to do the hard running, going to hold the ball up. It's an old style player, but sometimes the old style is the best way. And it's been a long time since we've had a genuine number 9, especially a player who we can rely on, and he is young. I think maybe if we look back, you couldn't even really call Ronaldo a proper number 9, because he was never really a full-out striker in that mold. Maybe a Cavani, I guess, kind of in that first season, but it was still very much a lot of goals scored in a couple of bursts. But beyond that, guys, look, the forward option has been a big question for a long time. Big T says, Sancho went from playing with Haaland and Bellingham to playing with Arlov. My mentality would dip. Absolutely, man. I think that's a real good point. I think the biggest thing is Sancho on the right-hand side. I think that's his best position. I think he's gone from having Hakimi overlapping and being up alongside him, and Marco Reus, who likes to come onto that side. He had Haaland in the middle. To come to Manchester United with Anthony Martial always injured. To have Marcus Rashford playing through the middle, who's not a striker. To have Ronaldo, who had no interest in giving the ball back. Then we had Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka is nowhere near as good as Hakimi in terms of the attacking stuff. I think that's kind of why we struggled. That right-hand side has been an issue for a long time. We've been very, very left dominant. With Luke Shaw down there, with Lisandro Martinez down there now, Bruno comes onto that side, Eriksen comes onto that side, Rashford comes onto that side, Martial, when he plays, comes onto the left. So we're very, very left balanced, very left heavy. We look at the right, we got Casemiro, last season, who's more likely to want to sit back. We've got Wan-Bissaka, not very good going forward. That's not a strength, really. And then we had we had Sancho, very isolated. I think there's a lot more to come from those players. I think more balance is needed. Hopefully we get it as well. But yeah, look, you're absolutely right. Going from Haaland to Martial, going from Bellingham to some of our midfielders, it's night and day. It really is. If you're going from Bellingham to Scott McTominay or Bellingham to Fred, that's a big drop. Will be interesting to see what happens in that regard, how we try to fix these issues, what's going to happen in that midfield area. Scott McTominay in brilliant form for Scotland in a more advanced role, scoring goals. Does he come into the team for this one? I actually find myself arguing maybe right before we dropped off just for the holiday period as well, that maybe McTominay needs to come in for a couple of matches for that work rate, for the energy, because we were getting overrun in midfield. I think Amrabat's a natural solution to that, but he's not going to be available for tomorrow's match. Will we find ourselves playing Scott McTominay? Maybe we do. A lot in. One thing I don't want to see, and I'm sure you guys don't want to see it either, is Bruno Fernandes on that right-hand side. That's not what we want to see. That's not what we need. Because you're just taking your most creative player, the guy who is going to make the opportunities, taking him out of his best position to put him on the right-hand side. That's not what we need in tomorrow's match. Absolutely, that's not what we want to be seeing. Any more thoughts, guys? Make sure you get them in down below. In terms of the poll, we have 74% going for the yes, 15% for the not sure, and 12% going for the no. Would I start Garnacho or Pellistri, says Lemon. I would go for Pellistri, and I'll explain my choice. Firstly, I do really, really like Garnacho, and you guys know this as well. What I will say about Garnacho is I still think he's a player better coming off the bench. I feel like he struggled to make an impact across the full 90 minutes. When he comes on off the bench, last season he was one of the best impact players in the league for goals and assists as a substitute, and that's the way he plays the game. He's a very fast player, very brave player, wants to run at opposition defenders. When they're more tired, that works better. So let me see. Shakhtar's down there saying Evan Ferguson, huge United fan. His family have been United fans for generations. Really hope tomorrow he realizes his dream is to come to United, possibly at the end of the season. Maybe that's what we're going to go for. I mean, it would be interesting. I said the other night, I think it's unlikely. And I think it's unlikely because he spent a lot of money on Rasmus Hojlund. So I don't know if we're going to go for another young striker. I think maybe we go for someone more experienced. Maybe that's the natural call. Chase is down there. I feel like Dortmund Sancho wanted to prove himself playing better, and now at Old Trafford he doesn't have nothing to prove. Just like Rashford during his first year and Rashford now. And Big T says, like to see McTominay on the right while Anthony is absent. An interesting experiment. Of course, that's where he was playing mostly for the Scottish team in a kind of right inside forward role. I think McTominay is a better player going forward. I think he works hard. He puts the tackles in. But that's out of his work rate. That's out of his mentality. That's him as a person. I think during the youth academy days, he was definitely a striker first and foremost. So I do think we'll see better McTominay in and around the penalty box, because that's where he's played and was developed into first and foremost, before he was dropped back in the midfield, before he became the holding number 6 type player that we know him mostly at. But it's going to be interesting. I think Erik Ten Hag will be taking note, because we need goals in this team, and if that can be done with McTominay there, I guess that's something he might think about. It might be an option. I would expect Pellistri tomorrow. I really want to see it. If we see Bruno Fernandes on that right-hand side, I feel disappointed. And it's not because I don't like Bruno, but it's because I'm very much in a position that, and of a mindset that you play your best players in their position and you let the rest figure it out. That's what I think we got to do. I don't think Rashford should be on the left. Sorry, in the middle. I don't think Bruno should be on the right. I think we should be playing best players, best position. I think that's how you get better levels of performance. And let the rest figure out. If we have to play Garnacho on the right, we play Garnacho on the right. Ivan Toney and Hojlund partnership would light up the league. We won't see it though. It's a good point, Big T, man. Look, I'll say the same thing. Like, I think Ivan Toney would be a good signing for United. I think it's the right sort of mold. I think he's a fantastic player, really experienced. Greg's down there. I thought this year would be Garnacho's breakthrough season, but I don't think he's ready. Still, a brilliant impact sub, and that could be crucial for tomorrow. It might well be. I think Garnacho maybe just needs a couple more things in his game. I don't think it's an issue of skills. I don't think it's an issue of what he does on the ball. I think the two things I would like to see him improve upon is physicality. I think he's working on that. And I think decision making. Decision making is always going to be the big issue for young players. They're not always going to make the right call because sometimes they haven't been in that situation before. So decision making will improve, hopefully, for Garnacho. Liman down there, I think Ten Hag has got a good record with experimenting. He doesn't really experiment too much. You know, I would like to see some more from that. I would like to see some interesting calls made. I mean, I guess some of it we've seen Weghorst played at number 10 in the new camp and against Barcelona. We've seen some interesting stuff as well done from time to time. We're going to find out on that one. Big T says if we're playing players in their best position, Onana in midfield, maybe that's what we got to do, man. Maybe Onana could be the midfield player. We'll stick Bayandere in net and let's take it from there. Maybe that's what we're going to do. It will be interesting to see. Jess is saying Bruno on the right is ineffective. Would rather him on the bench than on the right. Yeah, absolutely. Big T says Ollie would have loved Garnacho at this stage. Yeah, he definitely would have, man. He really would have. It's a question, like it genuinely is. Would we have signed Sancho if we had Garnacho at this stage of his development back then? I don't know. It's an interesting one. Amso Fresh said, I heard Ten Hag wants an apology from Sancho before he goes back to first team training. Has Sancho apologized for this yet? Oh, apologies for that, man. I will give you an apology for that because I promise you an update on everything with Sancho. The issue is we have Jadon Sancho is refusing to apologize. We got Ten Hag refusing to have him back until he apologizes. So we're in a standoff. Someone's going to have to blink. And I think Ten Hag is in a stronger position. I think Sancho will eventually apologize. Whether it comes too late or not, I don't know. I wonder what it means for his long-term future. I wonder what it means for him going forward. Will he have that long-term future at United? Will he be moved on? It's going to be interesting. It is. It's going to be a very, very interesting time to watch what's happening with Jadon Sancho. I wish for once it wasn't United involved in an issue like this. I wish for once it could be somebody else. But this club, we like trouble. We like being in the headlines. That's where we find ourselves so often. And more often than not, that's where we're finding ourselves. Big ups as well, guys. 420 likes. Thanks so much for that as well. I've only got 96 views on this video as well, man. So it's definitely a YouTube problem. Let me see what else have we got down here. Stefan, do you think Onana's dropped after the Wolves hauler in the penalty incident? No, absolutely not. I heard he likes to party a lot as well. Yeah, look, that's an interesting one. I think, look, the off the field stuff, I'm never going to be too annoyed at a player. They're people with lives. I have no problem with that. I just think, yeah, look, if you're on 350k a week, maybe we can, like, get somebody to make sure you're trading on time. Maybe. Onana's confidence. No, I don't think Onana's confidence has dropped at all, man. I think we're still seeing the guy coming out of his box, whipping up in the halfway line. I'm not too bothered about that. I think, yeah, look, Onana's a great goalkeeper. He really is. There's times maybe when his decision making could be a little bit better, but I've been pretty impressed with him so far. Hopefully he isn't going to be too busy tomorrow. I really hope not. Hopefully Evan Ferguson doesn't give the guy a hard time. Any more thoughts, guys? Make sure you get them in down below. We'll be doing a watch along for tomorrow's match as well. Let me just double check when the match is. I think it's a 3 o'clock kickoff. I might be wrong on that one, but let me just double check. Just want to get everything confirmed as well. just for you guys as well. So I'll advertise it on the channel. 3 o'clock kickoff tomorrow, so probably going to be live about 2:30 if you guys want to join in then. Any more thoughts, guys? In the meantime, make sure you get them in. Gani saying Onana is quality. Yeah, look, Onana is top quality. My big concern is going to be what happens when he goes to African Cup of Nations. How good is Bayern there? That's going to be my question, because we're going to need him. We're going to need him. Onana definitely fits the style of play better from De Gea as what I've seen from him. Yeah, look, I think it's just the playing out from the back stuff. I think that's what we've always wanted to do. So having a guy who specializes in that, I think that's going to be a good thing for us in the long term. I think the rest of the team now needs to level up. I think there are big holes in the team. We've still got a lot of work to do, a lot of recruitment needing to be done. And that does lead us on to the last thing I wanted to go through tonight as well, guys. And that is Manchester United have identified a shopping list for next year. And the positions we want to sign is a fullback, a centre-back, a midfield, and a forward. The centre-back's going to be an interesting one with Varane. Hopefully Maguire goes in the summer. I think he needs to for his career. I guess right back is probably going to be that signing. One of Delo, Wan-Bissaka going. I can see it being Delo because I think Wan-Bissaka just gives us a unique sort of skill that maybe not other right backs have. We move forward midfield. I guess it's got to be someone to come in long term for a Casemiro. That's probably going to be the idea there. And then a forward. It might be a right winger at this point because who knows what's happening with Sancho and with Anthony. That definitely has not been planned out by United. Who have we got in the comments as well? Can see some more flying in. Greg saying Ten Hag likes players with a hard-working attitude. That's why he rates Bruno. And that's why he signed Hojlund and Amrabat. Sancho never will offer that. I think he's done. It's a good point there from Greg. Look, I think he's definitely got to up his work rate. Would I be okay if Maguire or Evans gets booed at Old Trafford? No, I won't, because I don't think we should boo our own players. I've always been off that mindset. I was at the Dublin match for pre-season. A lot of the crowd booing Maguire. I wasn't happy with that. I thought it was a bit of a joke on that regard. Kerwin says coach did a setup program to get practice and early for Sancho, as far as I've heard. I haven't seen that one, but I do think that they'll try to make steps towards getting that done. There is a program for Sancho, but it might not be as trying to get him there early for training. I think it's him being banned from the first team group until he apologizes. We got down here, Big T, if Ten Hag likes hardworking players, why did he sell Fred? I think that comes from Fred's overall quality. I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's what we want in midfield. I don't think he's good enough on the ball, passing-wise. Glazers not selling to 2025 because they think the club will be worth 10 billion by then. Oh man, I just hope they take an offer at some point. Onana is arguably a good fit for the team, but the real question is the team a good fit for Onana? I hope Hojlund gives him an option to go long. He definitely will. He definitely will. Gani says Onana and Hojlund are the only signings I can say Ten Hag got right. Casemiro a panic buy and way too expensive. I think a lot of them he has got right. I think Lisandro Martinez, brilliant signing. I think Eriksen a free, can't complain about it. Casemiro was brilliant last year. Hopefully he can pick his levels up this year. Hojlund will be good. Onana will be good. Let's see what happens with Anthony. I don't know where that's going for sure. Malacia, I guess, as well, we got in there, but a lot of the players we have signed, and look, we've bought a lot of players under Ten Hag. A lot have been free agents, a lot have been loan signings that we don't know what's going to happen with them yet. Do I think American shirt sponsor leans towards the Glazers going nowhere? I really hope not, Big T, because that was my initial response. That was my initial fear of that. And your thoughts of 50% of the league being owned by American 777 or buying Everton? Yeah, look, let's just hope we're not seeing any more Super Leagues. Let's not hope we're seeing anything like that. And let's hope there's not American ownership of Manchester United for too much longer. That's what we got to hope for as well. Drop a like in the video, guys. We're up to 21. Can we get up to 25? Would be really appreciated if so. And if you guys are new, please consider hitting that sub button. We're getting really close to 2K. I think we need 17 subs. I think that's all we need. In that regard, Gani says Martinez is quality too. Yeah, look, I love Lisandro Martinez. I think he hasn't hit the same levels since the injury, but he does. He'll be back to his best. No fear about that at all. Who else have we got down here? Did Lemon see the club price drop by 24 to 18 billion? Yeah, I saw that as well. Massive drop there. Mushi's in the comments. Yeah, man, it has been a while. Thanks so much for joining in with us. tonight. So yeah, look, everything's just coming back on the channel. I think there's algorithm stuff as well, because a lot of the regulars are not hidden at the minute. I think that's just down to YouTube. I've noticed that across the board as well. Like, People's TV's down 85% in their viewers. We got United Stand pulling about 30k when they've got 2 million subs. Like, it's not, something's going wrong with YouTube. I should be on 20k minimum. Big ups, thanks for that one, man. Look, obviously some time off has slowed that down, but we're gonna hit 2k very soon. Hopefully we get it maybe tonight, tomorrow. Maybe that's gonna be the plan for the watch along. Watch alongs are always fun. Make sure you guys are joining in as well. Do I suppose if the Glazers weren't Americans, then United fans would not have tolerated them? It's a good question there, LeMan. I think regardless of who it is, if anybody came in and brought that sort of treatment and brought that sort of ownership model to Manchester United, I think there would be a problem from the fan base first and foremost. If it's Radcliffe doing it, if it was a guy from Manchester doing it, if it was someone from a Qatari or Saudi Arabians, no matter where, I think United fans would be outraged regardless. And I think, yeah, look, the American stuff, it hasn't been good for the for teams who've been bought over. I think looking at Chelsea, a lot of money spent, they're going to get in trouble at some point. But that's the issue there. You know, it's going to happen, and that's coming under American ownership. You know, where Bowley came in, really made himself in charge of Chelsea as well. Yeah, look, just checking this as well, guys. What we on 1982 in terms of subs, so big ups for that one. Is Amrabat off against Brighton? Yes, Missy, he is. He is unfortunately injured for that match. He will not be playing. That's a real shame. Massive shame there, but hopefully we have him back pretty soon. Maybe he can feature against Bayern Munich. I think I'd like to see him. What did Jim say about a new bid the other day? I say that he's kind of talking a load of, it's what I would like to call a load of nothing. It's like he's talking, but he's not really saying too much, because he's got that NDA, non-disclosure agreement, so he can't really say too much in regards to that. What we can say, though, is there was reports of the Glazers looking voting rights if Radcliffe buys the club. I mean, that's just not what we want to see. The Glazers did what the league allowed them to. Largely, it needs to go towards ownership rules. Absolutely. And look, the most laughable thing of all is financial fair play was brought in because they thought Manchester United going public as a public club in the Premier League was going to ruin the league, because they would just buy everybody and we'd have so much more money than everybody and it wouldn't be fair. And that was one of the main driving factors behind all that. Little did they know that letting people buy with debt, with a leveraged buyout, wasn't going to work out. Let me see, Le Mans said the face of the club keeps growing regardless of the share price. Yeah, look, it will, and it's not because of United, it's because of football as a whole. The Saudi Arabian stuff has put the value through the roof. The TV deals, the new sponsorships, that big deal we've signed with Adidas as well for kits. Everything's kind of adding up. It's all making a difference there. Okay, guys, I'm going to drop off here now. So thanks so much for joining in with me. Make sure to join in tomorrow, 2:30 p.m. for the watch along against Brighton. Hopefully we're going to have a better day tomorrow. Hopefully we pick up the win. I think it'll get rid of a lot of the negativity. I'm going to go put my predictions in right now. I'm going to go for 2-1 win to United. Goal scorers Rashford and Hojlund. Hojlund and Rashford, that's what I'm going to go for. Evan Ferguson to score for Brighton as well. Maybe he'll get a taste of Old Trafford and want to join in. That's my thoughts, guys. Make sure to join me then. Thanks very much. Have a good Friday night and a good Saturday, whatever you guys are up to. And I will see you all then. Big ups. Thanks so much for joining in, and see all you guys tomorrow.